Greetings, my scattered brothers and sisters in the Lord. Trust you know the Lord is with you wherever you find yourself scattered today, and that you know that his presence with you is more than enough for whatever you might face today. We are continuing in John chapter 19. Pilate, the Roman governor, has given the order for Jesus to be crucified. And so the soldiers lead Jesus away, and Jesus carries his own crossbeam, at least initially, and there are two others that are led away to be crucified with him. Jesus will be crucified in the center. When the soldiers have Jesus up on the cross, they also are instructed to put a sign above him that reads, "The King of the Jews." And Pilate wanted this sign to be in three languages. It was in Aramaic, which was the language that the Jewish people spoke. It was also in Greek, the common language of the day. And then it was in Latin, which was the official Roman language of the day. So this placard, three languages, Jesus, the King of the Jews. And he is there crucified under that sign. The Jewish leadership wanted Pilate to change the sign so that it simply read, he claimed to be the King of the Jews. And Pilate said, no, what I've written, it's going to stay put, King of the Jews. Pretty interesting, just kind of to think about that. Again, Pilate and the Jewish leadership are still playing games. Pilate knows how to humiliate the leadership, and having their so-called king crucified, and Jesus is on public display for all to see. And yet Pilate has written truth that Jesus is the King of the Jews. In fact, he's the King of the human race. Well, anyways, Jesus is crucified. The soldiers, they take the garments of Jesus and divide them up. And they come to Jesus' undergarment, and it's woven so that it's one piece. And rather than tearing it, they decide to cast lots for it. And then we get this note that this fulfilled what was written in the scripture about how they divided his garments and cast lot for his undergarment, cast lots for his undergarment. The passage is found in Psalm 22. Now, this is truly humiliation beyond my ability to comprehend. And that Jesus would be crucified naked and he would be on public display, happen near the city, three languages, so that everybody passing by could see. And it was a clear show of the power of Rome, and that you don't dare play with Rome. But this note about it being fulfilled, about the scripture being fulfilled, just when it looks like that evil has kind of taken over, yet what we read is that scripture is being fulfilled. Now, I don't know everything to do with that, but it reminds me of the story of Joseph. And his brothers come to him and they're apologizing and they're afraid that Joseph is going to pay them back because they sold him as a slave. And instead, Joseph says this: you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. I don't think God planned the evil, but God was so big, God's so good, God's so wise that God can even incorporate evil to bring about God's good purpose. And I think that's what's going on here with this note about how scripture is being fulfilled. It's this reminder that when evil is having its greatest day, yet evil is never greater than God. And God is so wise, and God is so good, and God is so powerful that even when evil is doing its worst, God knows, and God is able to somehow take that and rework it so that God brings good out of it. And so scripture was being fulfilled. God was working to bring about salvation for those who were mocking Jesus, crucifying Jesus, demanding that Jesus be crucified. bring about salvation for you and me, bring about salvation for the whole human race. So Scripture was fulfilled, even when it looked like evil was doing its worst. So wherever you are scattered today, I don't know what evil you might be facing. I don't know what things might be happening to you. But I know from this line about Scripture being fulfilled that God is bigger than the evil, and that God will find a way to take that evil and to give you grace and to bring good, salvation out of the very evil that's done. If God can bring salvation out of the cross of Christ, I know that he can redeem whatever suffering you and I go through. God bless and have a great day, and know that God is fulfilling his purposes.